The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television. The original broadcast date is January 17th, 2020. Tonight, our special celebrity guest is Christine Elise. She'll be, there's a little picture of her right there. Welcome to the show, Christine.
Thank you.
And we've got tonight, my co-host is Mr. Jason Boyd. Jason, I haven't been able to hook up with you for a couple months now. This is like your 2020 premiere.
Yeah, thanks to my body being a jerk. So I think it's under wraps now. So I've taken all the parts out that was causing problems and ran out of OEM parts, unfortunately.
Think of all the money you saved on a funeral.
Yeah.
Now, I want to tell everybody, okay, now we've got our regular segments coming up. Stick around till after the show. Cody Chris Sutton, we have basically got a series that he was working on for another network that they did not pick up. He's going to be joining us on Scarefest Television, him and Charlotte Harden with the Spirit Drum. That'll be showing at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. I want to, and I'm going to go ahead and, before I start the interview, I'm going to apologize for my toupee. For some reason, my salt and pepper hair is not showing up, but my salt beard is, my glorious winter salt beard. And so it makes me, time to get a haircut, Wesley, time to get a haircut. Quick reminder before we get started. Volunteer applications are on the website, thescarefest.com. Click volunteers, fill out the application if you're wanting to volunteer for Scarefest 2020. And our first meeting is like Sunday. So get your ass in gear, people. Okay, let's go on and get with it. Christine, once again, welcome to the show. Of course, everybody, you know her from Child's Play 2. She was a guest last year. First thing I'm going to, though, I followed the links you gave me today. And how you stay busy in the Hollywood set. How do you find time to do like 6 websites? You've got photography, you write, you've got a novel that you've come out with. You've got all this, you've got like 12 social media accounts. Where does Christine find the time to do all this?
Well, one, I don't work as an actress as much as I would like to, so that leaves more free time than I care to admit that I have. But I'm sort of a relentlessly creative person by nature, and I can't go to bed at night without feeling like I've completed or accomplished something creatively, which still happens despite my best efforts. But most of those websites they're not like blogs or anything. They don't require daily maintenance. And so really Instagram is the thing. Instagram and Facebook are the things that eat your time, or my time. And my channel, my cooking channel, I have a vegan cooking channel on YouTube that I've been really lazy with for the last maybe 6 or more months. I've been lazy, but I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, and I just try to stay busy.
Okay, yeah, I didn't look at the dates on the channel because you've only got like 300 videos on here.
I know.
In other words, no one happening across it is going to say that is going to notice the lazy factor. On your recent TV endeavor. Now, I did not see it because honestly, I don't think the networks explained the concept of the show very good. BH90210. I thought it was just kind of picking up where the story left off, but no, this was a series about you actors that were in the original Beverly Hills 90210 series rebooting the series. What was it like playing yourself?
Well, it was as I said, a heightened version of myself. So it was a fictionalized version of myself. I want to go back to what you said earlier, that the network didn't do a good enough job explaining what it was they were doing. And they did. They whatever press there was. I mean, the problem right now is that there's so many competing platforms for your attention.
True.
So, and if you're not expressly looking up what is happening with BH90210 and looking into like what people are saying that's going to happen, you might have missed the explanation. But still, many people who are huge 90210 fans did see the explanation and didn't understand it. So I don't know how to fix that problem. I was really relieved that it wasn't a straight reboot. I think that picking up, some 25 years later, and picking up like Brandon and David and Donna and the Peach Pit, and everyone's now 50 or pushing 50, is kind of weak. It's kind of a depressing, I think. It would have been really depressing and lame from my perspective. I think what they did was, it was this faux reality show where it was Jason and Shannon and Tori and Jenny and Ian and Brian and etc. Gabby, and they go to a convention, which is fitting to this channel, right? And they find that they have a better reception at this convention than they anticipated, and they realize there's a lot of interest still in them as in the show, and the nostalgia of the show, whatever. And they decide, as the actual actors or the faux reality version of the actors, to try to reboot the show. So what happened over the summer was 6 episodes of the Jason and Shannon and Gabby and Tori and Jenny, etc., trying to reboot the show, which never actually happened on camera. Because again, I repeat, watching Brandon in a Peach Pit turquoise shirt at the, serving mega burgers to David and Donna is unbelievably lame. I mean, do you still only have the same 9 friends you had when you were a sophomore in high school? I mean, have their world not expanded at all? And I think what we did was so much funnier and smarter and edgier than a straight reboot ever could be. So I'm proud of what we did, but there you have it. Like
I said, after I went back and looked at what the concept was and everything, now not that it helps now, but I found it on Prime. I'm going to, one of these times when I've got time to sit down and actually rent the series, because I couldn't find any place free. Or
Fox.com?
I did not. My wife is teaching me how to go to the network websites and actually find this stuff. I'm a Prime guy. I sit there and do the search, and if I don't find it, I assume that it doesn't exist. And last night she showed me this, like the CW puts their entire network out there for free. So yeah.
Also with Hulu, I think Hulu, whatever. Some TVs you can just search a TV show and it would search every channel for you and tell you whether it's on HBO or Hulu or Netflix or Amazon Prime, but whatever. I hope you watch it because I'm proud of it. I think it's really smart and funny. So,
Jason,
yes, sir.
So first and foremost, let me get this out of the way. I love Vanishing Point. I love the original, so obviously I naturally check out the remake on it. So I loved it. I mean, I love what you guys did with it. Especially if you've ever watched the original, where they just kind of end it, and the guy, I don't want to spoil it for anybody's seen it, but they had a fantastic ending for what you guys had done. So did you enjoy that, or is that something,
Oh my God. So at the time I was working on ER, but I had done a movie called Boiling Point with Viggo Mortensen and Dennis Hopper and Blade. What's his name? Blade. Wesley Snipes. And so I had done this movie called Boiling Point, and Viggo requested me to play that character in Vanishing Point, which I was incredibly flattered by because Viggo Mortensen is a fucking huge stud. and a great, tremendous actor. So to be requested by him was awesome. And I think that it did a great job with the, with the muscle cars, and sort of the homage to the original, I think, is solid. And the actors, John Doe from X is in it, and Petra Wilson, who played La Femme Nikita in the TV series, and a bunch of other great character actors. It was a really wonderful experience for me. And it's the rare time that I actually got Jason Priestley a job. Jason is always credited with getting me jobs, which he hasn't done actually. But they needed somebody to play the radio host of the, with the mutton chop, the little handlebar mustache. And I was living with Jason at the time, so I was like, "Hey, how about Jason?" And they're like, "That's a great idea." So, but it was great. I've never had somebody bring that project up before, so thank you for that. I'm proud of it, and it's a kind of an obscure one. So thank you.
Yeah, like I said, that was one of the things whenever West when he asked me to do the interview, and I said, yeah, I said I wanted to ask her about the movies. I loved it, and like I said, being a car guy and everything, naturally, I'm gonna bring that one up. So, it's funny because I actually read somewhere that he had actually approached you about that and was like actually chose you for the role and stuff.
Yeah.
And, and that's where I was like, because I, and probably not too many people know this. I used to be a big 90210 fan when I was a kid. So I was like, I know her. That's the girl from 90210.
Yeah.
And so naturally I had to look it up and everything. And it was a great movie. And I mean, at the end, I may have watered my beard at the ending there. So again, if you guys haven't seen it, it's a great movie. Check it out. Like I said, I loved it. And actually had to go out and search for it on DVD after I watched, because I watched it on TV. So,
is it on DVD? I have it on VHS. Is it on DVD?
I believe so. Now I'm hoping maybe it's a legitimate copy. I hope nobody's bootlegged it, but I do find a lot of rare, obscure movies and stuff out there. Yeah. So, and maybe I do have it on VHS. I don't know. It's been so long. It's in my collection, and I kind of slowly migrated in the process over from VHS to DVD. So it's probably one of the last ones I probably picked up. So
it's probably VHS. It's fantastic. So even if people had to find a bootleg copy of it to see it, I would endorse that entirely, because it's an obscure gem, I think. So
it is, and I'm actually trying to think of the channel that I watched it on initially, and because it was kind of a
movie.
It popped up. I was like, oh, I love this movie. And then I started watching. I was like, wait a second. I was like, this isn't the original Vanishing Point. And then so I was like, did they do a remake of it? And of course, I actually had to IMDb it and everything. So, and then also read that you had a direct portal debut with. You said you actually did a film called Bathing in the Single Girl. What was that about?
Bathing in the Single Girl is short. There's a comedy theater in my neighborhood called the Upright Citizens Brigade, and they do all kinds of comedy shows and improv shows and things. And there was one 10 years ago called 4 Stories in a Cover, and it's 4 people reading true life 2,500 word essays about themselves, comedy essays about themselves, and then 4 people doing that and 1 person doing a funny cover of a song. And I used to see it all the time, and a writing friend of mine challenged me to hey, we shouldn't just be attendees, we should participate and submit stories and try to get to be part of the on stage portion of this, experience. And I did it. She didn't do it. I submitted. They took it, and the story that I wrote was what became my short film, 10-minute comedy short film called Bathing in the Single Girl, which you can see at bathingbook.com. Bathing Book, like take a bath. Bathingbook.com. There's in the navigation tab, there's a film tab, and you can see it there. So I wrote it and I directed it. It's all shot in my house. It was shot 5 days, individual days over the course of a year. And then I did 100 film festivals with it over the course of 2 years. And then somebody saw it and said, hey, it's really funny. If you can write more funny stories like that, you should write a novel. And I did. I wrote a novel of the same name, Bathing in the Single Girl. It's a dirty comedy novel. It's dirty, but not erotica, not like, what's that dirty book the trilogy book that, the book that
50 Shades of Grey.
Yes, yeah, that. It's not that. It's not erotica. It's like horrible, embarrassing, regrettable sex with terrible losers, and trying your best and swinging and missing all the time. So it's a book about embarrassment and humiliation despite your best endeavors. But it's meant to be funny, and I feel confident. My line about it, and it sounds immodest, is that if you read it and you don't have to put it down at least 3 times to stop laughing, I'll give you your $10 back.
That's a guarantee then. I'll definitely have to check that one out. So, and you've also worked as a producer, and looks like you have a couple of reality shows. And is there something you're currently working on now, or is it?
No, that's one of the things I do to like make ends meet when acting work isn't what I would like it to be. It's called story producing. It's not actual producing. Like, it's not getting money together. It's kind of for laymen, I guess it's sort of like, say they're shooting the Kardashians, right? So they have an idea of what they want an episode to look like. They want somebody to get married or whatever, break up. But they have their idea of what they want the story to be like in that episode, and then they go and shoot it. But it's, it's reality. So some of what they hope to get, they'll get, and some they won't get things they hope to get, and they'll get things they didn't expect to get. And so all that footage comes to the person that is me, and I get all the raw footage, and my job is to try to piece from the raw footage, pull from it enough footage to create the story they want or a story they will like, and then I hand it to an editor, and that person polishes it up, and we submit it and get feedback, and that process continues until the final episode is completed. I did a bunch of it. My favorite show that I did was a game show with the Soska twins. They did a show called Hellevator. And I did their second season of Hellevator. Do you know the Soska twins?
I do, actually. Actually, we got to take a commercial break real quick, but I would love to expand on that if it's possible. Okay. I love the name of that. So, Wes, you want to take over?
Sure, I will toss it back to you right after the commercial break so you can finish that thought. Everybody, you're watching Scarefest Television. We'll be right back. Akashic Awareness is a metaphysical healing and learning center unlike any other. A large selection of crystals, gems, and minerals greet you as you walk in the door, but from that point onward, the journey is yours. They offer a great selection of metaphysical tools, state-of-the-art holistic healing, with classes and lectures scheduled throughout the month. Akashic Awareness is open Tuesday through Saturday, noon until 6:30, 7 on Friday and Saturday. Visit their website for a current calendar of their almost daily special events and guests at akashicawareness.com. And while you are there, be sure to join their email list to stay current. Akashic Awareness, 328 Sycamore Street, Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
G'day Scarefest fans, Glen here from fakeshemp.net. I have got another beautiful, deliciously depraved, grisly horror film from the land down under for you, and this is one that I'm really excited about because, look, to be honest with you, if I were to come over there to Scarefest, this is exactly the kind of film that I would love to bring to play for you on the big screen. From 2000, it's a movie called Cut. I've been looking so forward to telling you all about Cut because this one means a lot to me. It came out in the year 2000 at a time when I was working in a video store, so I was so easily influenced by all of these slasher movies, and this one was directed by a guy called Kimball Rendell, who was a very popular music video director. And Cut told the story of a cursed film that was never completed after its director was brutally murdered by the actor playing the central villain. Several attempts were then made to finish the film, but they all ended up in a similar grisly, murderous kind of way. And so Cut follows a group of film students who tempt fate by completing the film for their end-of-year project. Naturally, the curse of the film re-emerges and all the students start getting picked off one by one, and it's very formulaic. And as with so many Aussie horror movies that I tell you about, there's an element of American star power here, because 80s teen queen Molly Ringwald steps into the limelight. And look, many would argue that Cut is actually a bad movie, and I guess fair enough, but I would argue that this one is misunderstood. It's sort of satirical, almost meta. The movie kind of pokes fun at the genre, and you've got to remember at the time these movies were a dime a dozen, with films like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer being massive box office beauties. And in fact, Cut was actually released the same year as Urban Legend's final cut, which is kind of weird because they're more or less the same film, at least in concept. So there we have it, Cut, starring Molly Ringwald. It's one of my favourites. I hope you guys are excited about it. Go and find it. The best news of all, that it is available on Blu-ray. It recently had a release through Umbrella Entertainment. And even better is that it does appear to be region-free. The region on the back does say that it's locked to Australia, but I put this one in my American Blu-ray player and it works just fine. So, find it. There may be a supplier over there that does it. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Get this version. It's got so many awesome special features and interviews and audio commentary and all the good juicy stuff. And I'm out of breath, so I'll catch you next time.
Back to you, Jason.
All right, and so now let's go ahead and we'll talk more about the elevator there. And I see you got some fur babies there too in the background.
I do.
I used to have actually a dash hound myself named Missy, and she was a Spitfire. So
I'm actually just taking care of Mr. Winston. He's got an Instagram account. That's Mr. Winston, the dachshund. But I have a Frenchie and a Boston Terrier Chihuahua mix here. They're all watching me right now because they want dinner. But Elevator. So Elevator, what was your question?
As far as like you said something you wanted to expand on that, and you mentioned the Soska twins. And so what's the story behind the elevator there?
So I did the same thing that I just outlined what story producing is on Elevator. I just got that job just because I needed a job and somebody said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Did not yet know the Soska twins. So I met them on that. They were incredibly gracious. They're really lovely women. They're so animal conscious, so like big and like animals, everything from snakes and spiders to dogs. They're all animals are important to them, which is close to my heart too. So I love them. They're super. If you've met them, I don't know. They're incredibly sweet, positive women. They're pro women. they're like superheroes for me. I'm a big fan of the Soska twins. But the game show was it was called Elevator, and it was an elevator, and it was a game show where like a team of 4 or 5 people would like get on this elevator, and it would lead them to different floors in this horrible abandoned slaughterhouse warehouse, and they would have to do gross, kind of like, Fear Factor meets a horror movie, like jump scares and having to do gross things, like, pick up things with their mouth that were gross, or walk in the dark through spider webs. And anyway, it was great. It's a really fun show. But the big win for me on that show was meeting them, because they're really awesome ladies.
So where can people watch this at? Is it something that's on any particular channel or streaming, or?
That was a Blumhouse production, and I don't know where you can see it. That's a Google thing, Google Elevator and Soska Twins, and I'm sure it'll come up someplace. There's 2 seasons. The first season had more episodes. Like the first season had like 8 or 10, and we just did 4 in the second season. So it's fun. It's a fun show.
It sounds like something awesome. I love the scare tactics and shows like that, so that's one I would definitely I'd want to check out. Then, like the scare tactics, that's one of my probably my guilty pleasures.
Like the evil masterminds behind torturing all the contestants. So they're the hosts.
Sounds like my kind of show then. So now you also run a as it was called in one of the websites I read it on, a food porn vegan type channel on YouTube. Is that correct?
Yeah, food porn is sort of a dated term. That was my blog. I had a blog that I started maybe in 86 and 7 years ago, and it was just vegetarian. I've been vegetarian since the 80s, and then I sort of transitioned into being more plant based. And the channel is entirely plant based. It's called Delightful, Delicious, and Lovely, but you can get to the channel by going to videovegan.com. The channel is not meant to preach to the choir. It's not a channel to try to congratulate vegans on how awesome they are for being vegan. It's meant to sort of help people that still eat meat, that want to cut back for whatever reason, whether they want to do it for ethical reasons or because health reasons. Like I have a friend that had a heart attack and he's a medically induced vegan, and there's a lot of reasons to want to cut back. It's good for the planet. It's good for your body. It's good for the animals that aren't going to die, all that stuff. So, but it's not a platform for judgment. It's a platform for inclusion, and try to, like, if you just want to do a meatless Monday, it's good for weight loss. But not all the food is healthy. It can be decadent and, unhealthy vegan food too. So it's meant just to be like an all-inclusive sort of platform to educate people that eating plant-based can be not twigs and berries, not just twigs and berries, but maybe some of your guilty pleasures can be reinvented, with a little less cruelty.
It sounds great, man. Like I said, that again, that's if you guys are interested in checking that out, it's called the videovegan.com. And like I said, I would definitely check that out as well. I'm always looking for different alternatives, especially, with all the health issues I've had. I've been trying to, eat a little bit smarter, a little bit healthier. So I'll definitely have to check that one out and see if I can, come up with some better dishes and better alternatives to things. So as far as like, are you working on any big projects right now, as far as like movies or anything is concerned, or?
I'm not actually. I'm not officially announced as being part of anything, but the new Chucky TV series on the Sci-Fi Network was announced this past week or so. Don Mancini, who created Chucky and has written all the Chucky movies and directed the last handful, is doing a Chucky TV series on the Sci-Fi Network. And if things go the way Don Mancini plans, I will have some involvement on that show. So that's like a summer job. So between now and then, we'll see what happens. But that's going to happen hopefully in the summer to fall of this year.
Well, that's awesome because I'm a bit of a Chucky fan myself, and one of my guilty pleasures that I like to watch every so often. Most people, my claim to fame as far as with the cosplay stuff, I do a lot of Michael Myers, but yeah, I'm a little too tall to be Chucky. So
we all.
So, and you were also in, I guess it was a 1993 Body Snatchers, and which is like Body Snatchers is like, again, it's one of my all-time favorite films. Very, just creepy movie. I mean, as far the whole concept is creepy. So, and I mean, as far as like the character and stuff you played in it and everything, I mean, is that something that you enjoy doing, or is that kind of one of those things where it was just, it just happened to fall in your lap, or?
First of all, I'm the kind of actor that takes every job that's offered if I don't have to get naked and I don't find it embarrassing. So I'm not the kind of actor that gets to pick and choose. I want every job that I try for, and I'm unbelievably happy to get everyone that I get, from Matlock to Vanishing Point, from like, it's an old school show with Andy Griffith to it's fucking Viggo Mortensen, right? So, so yeah, but that show is that. I don't. Which is your favorite Body Snatchers? Which is your favorite one?
I'm an old school fan. I like the Atomic Age type movies, so I like the stuff from the 50s and 60s. But honestly, with remakes and everything, I'm very, or I guess in what they call them now, reboots. I'm not a big fan of the reboots and stuff, but there's some movies that they stay true to the original, so I have a fondness for them. Like I said, in Body Snatchers being one of them, because they really don't deviate too much from the main story. So that's why that I kind of like all the Body Snatchers that have came out, at least the ones that I've seen anyway, in the kind of, I guess you'd say the imitations, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was that to me is quite an honor to be in Body Snatchers, because again, that's a badass movie, and I know a lot of classic horror fans are a big fan of that.
Yeah. So you like, but the 1950s one's your favorite one. The original one's your favorite.
Yeah, I'd have to say again, I have a fondness for black and white. The classic black and white movies, and but I would say the more modern ones and things are probably I would say second. Because I think there was one that came out, I want to say sometime in the 70s.
Yeah, there's Donald Sutherland.
Yes, I mean, and you get to follow those footsteps is, that's a big, in my opinion, it's a big achievement. So, I mean, I think that's awesome.
Mine too. So the 1950s one, the little town that I live in an area in Los Angeles called Beechwood Canyon. And it's kind of like the area right in the shadow of the Hollywood sign. which I'm a big fan of. I moved here because I love Hollywood movies, black and white movies in particular. Like I'm an old classic Hollywood movie fan. So I didn't want to be famous or be an actor. I wanted to be a director. I just wanted to be part of movie making, and being an actor was my only way that I could find to actually get in there effectively. But this neighborhood, the Beechwood Village, Beechwood was the town used in the 1950s body snatchers, and the stairs they're running up. There's a secret stairs in Beechwood that I hike every weekend that they're used in that original body snatchers. So if you're ever in LA, Google that. Google the Beechwood Canyon body snatchers neighborhood, and you'll be, I think, charmed by it. Secondly, because I love those movies, and I do love being part of an homage to that, that history. But also, Abel Ferrara is a great modern filmmaker, and I was a big fan of The Bad Lieutenant, and a big fan of, is it The Funeral? Pardon me if I'm mistaken, I think it's The Funeral too. But Abel is an important, I think, independent filmmaker in modern American history. So to work with him, to work with Gabrielle Anwar, who was fantastic. And so every level of that worked for me. I love that it was a body snatchers, homage. I love that it was Abel. I like Gabrielle. It was a gigantic win for me. It wasn't like it fell on my lap and I'm like, oh fuck, great, a paycheck. No, it was really exciting. It's really exciting for me.
Like I said, yeah, I mean, it would have to be, because I mean, I would be thrilled if somebody would just ask me to stand in the background of a remake of a classic movie like that. Let's see. Wes, looks like we got a commercial break coming up here. I'm going to turn it back over.
Everybody, you're watching Scarefest Television. Everyone is talking about CBD oil, and it seems like almost everyone is using it. The research is ongoing, but the apparent health benefits are overwhelming. If you're going to use CBD products, though, what brand should you buy? First, find out where the hemp was grown. Imports are flooding the market. How potent is it? Look for a brand that plainly states its concentration on the label. And look for full spectrum CBD. This means the oil contains CBD and all the other cannabinoids, terpenes, and nutrients that are found in the entire cannabis plant. Look for Blue Leaf CBD oil. Blue Leaf Naturals is a Kentucky proud company. They use only Kentucky-grown hemp, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses. Visit their website at blueleafcbd.com now and use the code SMILE at checkout for free shipping.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more. This week in horror history, we take a look at one of America's most notorious unsolved murders. Elizabeth Short moved to LA from her home in Boston in search for the Hollywood dream of becoming a star. Sadly, however, she wouldn't find that fame in life, but rather in death. On January 15, 1947, Short's body was found in a vacant lot in West Los Angeles. She had been mutilated, sexually assaulted, and quite literally cut in half. Due to the graphic nature of this murder, her death quickly gained local and national attention, and the media gave her the nickname the Black Dahlia. It has been widely speculated that a man by the name of George Hodel is responsible for this heinous crime, but no one was ever officially charged, and it's likely no one ever will be. Short's murder and the mystery surrounding it have left a lasting cultural impact, which has led to books, movies, television shows, and many podcasts about the crime. This case remains one of the oldest unsolved murders in Los Angeles County history. And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. We've got a few more minutes with our celebrity guest tonight, Christine Elise. Now, first of all, don't downplay. I thought Food Pornographer was the most creative title that I'd ever seen when I saw that on Twitter last year. That caught my eye. I just have to say it.
Well, thank you. For Pornographer is just expanding upon the term food porn, which I think has been appropriated by people that just take photos of random ugly food and call it hashtag food porn. So it's an overused term now, so I'm distancing myself from it. But food pornographer, I still am one. I still proudly am one, but I don't necessarily advertise myself that way anymore.
Now, without going into great detail on the recipes, but I will say, everybody, first of all, from the book site, bathingbook.com, you can spend a day going to links that she's provided to all the stuff she does. And one of them does take you to her YouTube channel, where you'll find all these video recipes. Now, some of them, first of all, some of them you do use the meat in the name, so I'm assuming that you have found a way to substitute the flavor of the meat. Is that correct? When we're talking about
yes, and so I get a lot
tuna.
of grief. Yes, I get a lot of grief from both meat eaters and more significantly from vegans for using words like chicken or beef or pork in a food recipe title. The reason I do it is, one, it's meant to replicate that thing. So if I'm saying it's chicken piccata or a ragu, a beef ragu, spaghetti sauce or whatever, that's a shorthand. Everybody knows what that's meant to taste like. And if I said it was chicken, like CHIK''N, or pork, PORQ, like vegans want you to like use these fake spellings to indicate that it's faux. It's not searchable, and I'm not trying to preach to the choir here. I'm not trying to win vegans over who are already vegan. I'm trying to win people over who are trying to cut back and find ways to make their favorite recipes without having actual meat in them. You guys, even in Kentucky, you must have veggie burgers and veggie dogs and things like that.
The Impossible Burgers caught on, and I'm not complaining about it. I was just going to say, to me, now that I would say the middle ground is to what you said a minute ago, faux chicken. That way, at least it would be searchable. What? Now, this is me not watching the video. What tastes like chicken? Just to ask a really stupid question from a meat eater. But I noticed the vegan sriracha chicken bowl. What tastes like chicken?
Well, everything tastes like chicken, apparently. That's the running joke, right? What does a cockroach taste like? What does this pillow taste like? It tastes like chicken, right? That's the punchline to all things that they taste like. But chicken isn't so much a taste. Like shrimp, even though chicken does have a taste and shrimp has a taste, what they really are is conduits for other flavors. They're a delivering service they're a texture, really, more than a flavor. While they do have flavor, they're more a texture. And the chicken that I use primarily in all of my chicken things and a lot of my faux pork things in that channel was a chicken strips made by Beyond Meat. Impossible is one kind of Beyond Meat's another competing brand doing the same thing. They had a chicken strips thing, which is my favorite product they make, and they've discontinued it. So many of my recipes are like sort of in a limbo because Gardein and other Morningstar and other companies make vegan chickens, but none of them had that perfect texture the way Beyond Meat's chicken did. So, but really it's texture and it's delivery. Like when chicken piccata is like pounded chicken with lemon and capers and butter, right? Well, vegan butter is, you couldn't tell the difference between real butter and vegan butter. Vegan butter is perfect, right? It's one of the few vegan things that even a diehard animal product eater couldn't tell vegan butter from real butter. So I can make a really convincing vegan chicken piccata because lemon is so powerful, capers is so powerful, butter is powerful. So you just want a texture. You want something chewable that feels like the same delivery system that real chicken piccata would have. And so that's sort of what my channel is about. Is that it's reinventing your favorite food experiences, but without without the suffering and death.
It makes sense now. When I first looked at it, I went, "Oh, it's one of those things where, yeah, you call it chicken." But no, that after I thought about it, it makes sense, and you've explained it quite well.
Well, it says vegan. It says vegan chicken, vegan pork, vegan beef, vegan. It says vegan on everything. That vegan is rather than saying faux.
Yeah, but tell me you haven't met a vegan that goes, "I'm totally vegan except for fish." Or except for chicken.
Of course I have. Of course I have. And but more obnoxious than the cheating vegan, or the part-time vegan. I'm more offended by a full-time vegan who is on a pedestal or on a pulpit, raining down on people for asking like, I'm trying to like do a vegan cheeseburger. What's a good vegan cheese? And then some militant vegan will come down and go, why do you want to eat cow pus? That's not a productive answer to an honest question, to a genuine question. Like, I'd like to find a good vegan cheese, which, by the way, there's not a lot of them. Vegan cheese is the godhead of all. Like, everyone could be vegan if you just have great vegan cheese, right? So I'm more offended by genuine vegans who are militant and crushing to people who are experimenting and trying to like dabble and maybe transition than I am by people who are transitioning and not already there.
Now, everybody, now my favorite website of the bunch was bathingbook.com. And the reason first of all, I watched the short, absolutely delightful. I came downstairs bragging about it to my wife. I did want to ask, you kind of explained it before, so I guess maybe I shouldn't, but it caught me that you wrote a novel. I'm so used to the shorts being made based on a novel, and you've actually based a novel on a short, which, once again, total curveball there. But the real thing I enjoyed more is, well, okay, maybe not more than the short. The short was good. Your photography. The Americana, now everybody, to find, do you actually have a web address for that, or is the best place just to go to?
MyPinupArt.com. MyPinupArt.com.
There you go.
MyPinupArt.com.
I found it by going to your, I think it was the About the Author page. That's where I found it at. And you've got all of these great small town photos. I mean, restaurants, cafes. In your travels, what area, what state gave you the most target-rich environment for your thesis here?
The South. I've driven across country like maybe 6 or 7 times, all the way like California to New York or to Boston, and all kinds of which ways doing it. And the South is most unadulterated. Like it's a sad reason why, like, the South, most of the South has not had a great economic resurgence or boom. The city like Atlanta and certain cities have, but in general, the whole swath of the South has not. Which while that's not necessarily great for work and for the communities there, it's great for Americana. It's great for gas stations and old drive-ins and cafes and signage, old signage and old neon, motel signage. All that stuff is intact because there's no reason to take it down. There's no motivation to take it down. So I understand that economic, hardship is the cause for this preservation. I'm still grateful for it because I think it's really beautiful. I think it's a part of America that's uniquely American. You go to Paris, and Paris has its old things, and Europe is so much older than we are. But this country tends to be, because we're so new and so disrespectful of, I think, our history. And I mourn the loss of the character that the post World War II boom that created the America that is an iconic America, and the South has the most of that maintained.
I think that's what touched me about it. Of course, now Kentucky is generally considered a southern state because we have the accent. Culturally, I think we're more Midwest, but that's a whole other discussion. But looking at your pictures, right? So
what's you're that? Almost Ohio. Yeah, right there by Ohio.
Long story short, I grew up a county north of where I live now. I grew up without a southern accent. I actually moved one county south and developed the accent. So that tells you. But these photos actually brought back a lot of, I don't know if memories is, but cultural significance to me. But the town that I live in, and here in Kentucky, we're tearing this shit down. You know, it's gone. In other words, I'm 10 years too late, I guess. But I was looking here, the motel that you have, I don't know of a single cafe or restaurant in my area that still has the little vinyl stools.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and the two that I'm thinking of, the shots that I have that are prominent on the site, one of them is in San Francisco and one of them is in Los Angeles, which are both really, you know, incredibly evolved towns and towns that should have torn those things down. Those vinyl stool things are, I think the two of them are both California, which is contrary to what I just said, right? So,
well, I mean,
there's
this kind of stuff
everywhere.
You know, of course, now Gettysburg is famous for preservation. That's the last time I went in a cafe that had that type of, you know, they've got a little old trolley car type that you go in, and they still use these stools and booze, you know. But our claim to fame, we do still have a drive-in theater in the area. Other than that, it's all Walmarts and the occasional Dairy Queen.
But drive-ins are that's the unicorn of the old America. There's almost none of those left. You have a functioning drive-in?
Yes, but the reason it's a functioning drive-in is somehow they came up with the money to go digital. See, that's what killed off the drive-ins. It wasn't people not going to them. It's that when everything went digital, it took $50,000 to $100,000 to do the digital projector. And they came up with the money to do it.
And, like, have you put your phone, like, do you get the movie audio, like,
through
the internet?
Most of them, I think, most of them maintain a few of those if you want to sit on the front row. This particular one, I think everything now, they do it over the AM radio. They actually do a short-range broadcast to AM radio. But yeah, you listen in your car and you pull in and watch your current run movies. Okay, before I let you, we're running late on commercial break, but let's get all the plugs in now. Like I said, my favorite website was bathingbook.com. I found everything from there. Any place else that you want to send them before we let you go?
No, that'll do it. That if you go to the contact page, that my Instagram account's there. That I think that's a one-stop shopping place. Bathingbook.com. Go to the contact tab, and all of it's there. And the film tab, you can watch the short. And Amazon is a place to buy a paperback of the book. You can get a Kindle version or whatever too if you want to, but the only way to get a paperback is on Amazon. But it's all on Bathing Book. So bathingbook.com is intentionally a one-stop shopping place.
Yes, and it will take up your afternoon, people. Just go ahead and enjoy it while you're there. Christine, thank you very much for being on the show tonight. And I want to thank
you.
And we're going to hop over to commercial break, and we're going to let Jason and her go during the commercial break because we still got a lot of stuff to cover here. We'll be right back, everybody. Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Now find them monthly at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market in Lexington. Or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being.
Join us at the Universal Energy Expo May 2nd and 3rd at the Northern Kentucky Convention Center. Meet celebrity guest Coyote Chris Sutton. Door prizes and workshops available with admission. While here, check out our readers, healers, and one-of-a-kind vendors. Admission the day of the event is $15 daily, $20 for a weekend pass. Discount tickets now available at the Silver Wolf at 4205 Richardson Road in Independence, Kentucky. The Universal Energy Expo. Come curious, leave enlightened.
Hello, Scarefest fans. This is Joe Lewis from Bonehead Weekly. Sorry about the twisting thing I did last week in the chair. I know it's aggravating. I'm back with a new movie that's out in theaters that none of you are watching. So the year was 1989. We did a whole episode on Bonehead Weekly about 1989 and why it's important. But in this context, it's important because we saw 3 movies, basically creature features, that came out in 89, and they were all dealt with people working under the water, right? The first one was Deep Star 6, directed by Sean Cunningham. Great poster, couple of good scenes, Miguel Ferrer. The next was Leviathan, directed by George P. Cosmostas. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. But he also directed Tombstone. His son, Pan, directed the brilliant Mandy with Nicolas Cage. Peter Weller, great cast. Daniel Stern from Home Alone. Also underwater, cool creature, kind of a great sets, not so great creature, wonderful movie. I like it a lot. I like Deep Star 6 scenes in it. And the other one was James Cameron's The Abyss, which I know isn't a horror film, but there are aliens under the sea that come up at the end. It is kind of a creature feature. I'm just letting you know. They all came out. So I have a love for underwater horror films. And when Underwater, the movie, I saw the trailer for, I thought, well, this is going to suck. Turns out it was shot in 2017. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but 20th Century Fox was just bought by a rat. And by that, I mean Disney. Disney bought 20th Century Fox. And Underwater was not a huge budget, $80 million, pretty good for a horror film, was part of 20th Century Fox's movies that still need to come out. Disney couldn't give 2 shits. So 3 years later, they dump it in the middle of January with very little fanfare. Stars Kristen Stewart. She gets a lot of crap because she's in those pretty bad movies where the vampires sparkle. She's really good in this. In fact, I enjoyed this movie more than I thought I ever could. And I saw it at a Saturday matinee. There's probably only me, 2 or 3 other people. A couple of the other stars that you might know is Vincent Cassel. He's a French actor. He's also a director. And TJ Miller, the comedian. Is a simplistic plot. They're underwater. Most of it is explained to you by the opening credits. They're underwater, and they are drilling for resources like always. And they're trying to, something's going on, and for the first 5 minutes of the movie, something happens and it takes off from there. So it moves along at a pretty good pace, okay? There's no issues with it being slow. I think Kristen Stewart is amazing in it. I think she does a really good job. Probably doesn't get enough credit for her good acting. This movie was just dumped. It's directed by William Eubank. He directed a kind of a cool little movie a few years ago called The Signal. They're underwater, they're mining, something happens, a survival group of about 7 or 8 of them get away, and they're trying to make their way, and something's outside attacking them. Fairly simplistic plot. The third act has a little bit of a twist, not a huge twist, but a little bit of twist, just enough to make it entertaining. Is it the greatest movie I've ever saw? No. Is it the best movie I saw last week? Maybe. I think me having such bottom of the basement expectations allowed me to enjoy this so much because it doesn't look cheap. I kind of like the creatures at the end, especially the semi explanation of it all. And I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. Now, do you need to break your neck to go out and see it? Probably not. Do I think you should go out and see it? Absolutely. And if not, please check it out on Netflix. I think this is one of those that unfortunately just got dumped in a billion dollar merger. But check out Underwater. I highly recommend it. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. Thanks so much. See ya in October, Scarefest.